What's going on, everybody? My name is Cory, and welcome to Ballers on a Budget. Let's start this debut off with a prediction video. The regular season games have just ended, and we are now into the play-in tournament. Cody covered the East, so if you want to check out that video, it will also be on this channel as well. And since he gave his reasons and his picks, I'm not going to bore you with those same facts and stats. But I will give you my quick picks for the East, and then we'll move on to the West. And if you take a look at the board behind me, you will see in the middle I have teams in their playoff spots with a couple missing. These play-ins are a way to keep teams from tanking at the end of the year for a better pick, and they also add another dimension on how and who gets those last playoff spots, hence play-in tournament. On one side, I got the East play-ins, and on the other, I have the West play-ins. At number 7, we have the Boston Celtics playing against the number 8 Washington Wizards. Whoever wins out of these two will clinch that number 7 seed and move straight into the playoffs. Now the loser, they have to play another round of games or just another game. And they play the winner of 9 and 10, who are Indiana Pacers and Charlotte Hornets. The loser of 9 and 10 get bounced completely out, and the winner moves down to play that other game. So now that you're all nice and confused, let's go ahead and make some picks. Now I'm going to start off with the side that Cody had already covered, just kind of give you a little run through. That way you can go watch his video and see his reasons on picking. And I'll just kind of toss up my picks and tell you what I think. I think we're pretty close on this one, though. For this one, I gotta say the Pacers have been playing at a pretty steady level all year. Not doing anything too flashy, but doing just enough to get the job done. And the Hornets have been kind of up and down, more up when they have a healthy LaMelo, but they did end up dropping their last 5 games. I know he was back. But for this one, I'm going to take the Pacers here, which will eliminate the Hornets from the playoffs altogether. So Pacers win here, and that eliminates Hornets altogether. And the Pacers obviously move down to that second game of the play-ins, which we will also predict in a couple days. Number 7 and number 8, Celtics at Wizards. The Celtics held that number 4 spot pretty much up until the All-Star break, and then from there it has been nothing but downhill for them. Washington has been a roller coaster of predictions all year, beating pretty much every team above 500 and losing to every team below 500. Beating teams they shouldn't, and losing to teams that they have no reason to. But I do look for the Wizards to beat the Celtics, securing that number 7 seed, and the Celtics would move up to play the Pacers for that number 8 spot. So those were my quick picks. Let's go ahead and move over to the West. Let me just put that there. At the number 9 and 10, we have Grizzlies and Spurs. Ja Morant and the Grizzlies have really picked up the pace after the All-Star break, and I'm not even talking about going 22 and 18. I'm mainly just talking about the intensity of the way they were playing. They did continue that in this last couple weeks. They won 5 of their last 6 games. Grizzlies are 2-1, in the regular season against the Spurs. And they come into this matchup 15th in points per game, 4th in rebounds, 4th in assists, and 10th in points allowed. John Morant averaging 19, 4, and 7. And in his last 10 games, went 41% from the field and 32% from three. Now, the big man Valanciunas, in his last 10 games, shot 67% from the field and 77% from the free throw line. Even in the loss to Golden State, he shot 80%, put up 29 points, and grabbed 16 rebounds. Obviously, I expect him to be a huge part of this game. On the other hand, you have the Spurs coming in 20th in offense and 9th in defense. Spurs are well behind Memphis in rebounds and assists. You got DeMar DeRozan putting up 21, 4, and 6. And against the Grizzlies alone, he's shooting 49% from the field, 25% from three. He did play eight of his last 10 games and averaged 23 and 4. San Antonio is 24 and 36 when their opponent scores 100 or more, and 13 and 29 against plus 500 teams. So for this matchup, I'm going to take the Grizzlies to end up getting the win and moving on to that second round, which means the Spurs are knocked out and their season ends here. Memphis, no more Spurs. Let's move on to the Lakers and Golden State. I'm super excited to see these teams play. Obviously, they've been the top. They've been the top two for a while. These past few years, aside from the Lakers, winning it all last year. This one, I'm still undecided with. I can talk myself into going either way on this one. You have the Lakers, who in the regular season were just a very average team, with AD going out very early and LeBron missing games with injuries on and off all season. Obviously, both are back now, and that means nothing to this team. They're not worried about what they did in that regular season. They're just going to focus on what they have to do now and how to get to that next level. Obviously, postseason LeBron is not someone that you want to mess around with. And for him, I still hope that's the case. But it's been a very weird year, so we'll see. The only thing that sticks in the back of my mind is how healthy of a player he has been in his past years. This year being the most injury-riddled he has ever been. And it just makes me want to look at this matchup that much more. With both AD and LeBron back in this lineup, clearly makes defending this team that much more harder. Lakers coming into this 22nd in points per game, but second in points allowed. It's going to be a big task for the Warriors. Now, on the Golden State side of things, you have Curry, who just won the scoring title after being second to Bradley Beal basically all year. Dude just went on a tear. Averaged 32, 5, and 5. He put up 46 points against the Grizzlies, 36 against Utah, 49 against OKC, and 53 against Denver. He is just a scoring machine. Clearly, that's one of the reasons I can be swayed on this one, but the other being Draymond Green. He only averages about 7, and 9, but the defense he's been playing recently, to me, has been absolutely phenomenal. It just reminds me and brings me back to the championship team that they had. And championship Draymond is just scary altogether. And now this next guy, he's not a crazy scorer, but I wouldn't count him out, and I definitely would keep him in the back of my mind. Jordan Poole at the Staples Center, he's shooting 45% from the field, 28% from threes, and has a 100% free throw percentage. All in all, I said I was undecided on this one, and Cody and I were talking about this matchup the other day, and he said he was probably going to take the Lakers. So I said, for the sake of putting a gentleman's bet on this game, I felt comfortable enough taking Golden State. And I believe a gentleman's bet is basically just for pride, but to keep the theme that he has in one of his segments, we're just going to put a nice crispy $1 bill, a crispy George Washington, if you will. So I'm going to take the Warriors on this one, which would secure that 7th seed for the Warriors, and the Lakers would be bumped to that second game. I'll go ahead and do that now. Winner here. So I'm saying Pacers versus Celtics in that second game for the East. Yeah, Grizzlies versus Lakers for the second game in the West. Obviously, these two teams, that second game, is going to figure out who plays that number 8 seed. And we'll see. I haven't looked that far ahead, so I don't know who I'm going to be picking yet. But those are my picks for this first round of games. Let's go ahead and lock those in. Don't forget to hit that like button for us. If you like these picks or even have different picks, let us know down in the comments. And follow us on all the social media listed down below in the description. Again, my name is Cory, and we're ballers on a budget. We'll see you on the next one.